to. Okay, so we got to get to Russia. Okay, so right off. Okay, so one thing about Joe, man, he is not. I don't like to. He's not Putin's bitch like Trump was. So he talked to Trump about. I mean, he talked to Putin about the election meddling. One of the things we've been following is the opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, who was jailed and who came back to Russia after being poisoned. So he's in jail, and there are major demonstrations going on, and thousands of people, 3,000 people have been detained, including Navalny's wife, Yulia. So they're a team. She's in there rebelling right alongside him. So, I mean, we'll need to see if this is what is going to topple Vladimir Putin. And everything is just so different now with social media. The revolution is being played out much more publicly. So I don't know. I mean, it does not seem like people are going back inside, and they're pretty brave. So I'm certainly sending my thoughts to Alexei and to Yulia and everybody else there. And, fuck Vladimir Putin. He needs to go hang out with his friend Trump. So we have talked periodically about the war in Tigray, about the Ethiopian offense into the Tigray region. And it was claimed that there was a ceasefire. That's not true. There's still atrocities going on, sexual assault. I was just reading an account of somebody people are hiding in churches and were killed there in the churches. So there's concern about antiquities in the Tigray region being looted. The Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, which reputedly houses the Ark, a casket of gilded wood containing stone tablets inscribed with the Ten Commandments. 750 people were killed in that church. The Ark is believed by Ethiopian Orthodox Christians to have been brought to Aksum by Menelik, the son of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon of Israel, after Jerusalem was sacked and Solomon's temple destroyed. It has since been guarded by a succession of monks who are forbidden until death to leave the church grounds. And so I was watching interviews about it, and to be very clear, nobody is minimizing 750 human beings being slaughtered. We're talking about that, and we are talking about antiquities being looted, because this is also the soul of people being taken away. And a couple weeks ago, mentioning no names, somebody got me completely sidetracked, talking about new rules in the United States to further regulate the sale of antiquities. Right now, you can pretty much slap something on an auction and nobody is going to really check it out. Unlike if you're trying to sell jewels or art or something like that. It's called the provenance. They're gonna, if you sell art, you need to have a provenance. You need to be able to provide background on where this piece of art is from. You don't really need to do that with antiquities. And so the concern, and it is a very big concern with Syria and Iraq and Middle Eastern countries with a lot of lawlessness that have just priceless pieces of history. So that is looted, and it is used by militias and by governments to fund their operations. So it is important on all levels to try and protect history. And I was reading an article by a young man who is black. He's from Zimbabwe. He's a professor at Oxford, and he has been one of the leaders of trying to take down the statue of Cecil Rhodes, who colonized and brutalized Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe was called Rhodesia. I remember hearing about Rhodesia when I was a kid. It's now, the asshole got an entire country named after himself because he looted it. So I was reading about what happened in South Africa in the mid-1990s. The government's curriculum redesign eliminated history as a standalone subject, and they folded it into human and social sciences. And so the most major episodes of human rights abuses in South Africa, such as the Great Trek of the 19th century, I can certainly think of plenty of abuses in the 20th century, in which Afrikaner pioneers occupied formerly black-held land, were simply never addressed. Because if you stop talking about history and you put it into human or social sciences, you don't necessarily have a chronological responsibility. And so that is the same thing as Donald Trump trying to get a bunch of his buddies to write a 1776 project to, a bunch of like old white historians to counteract the 1619 project, which was made by, primarily young black and people of color people. So, it's important. And I was, we were talking about that I've just had some pretty intense Bible studies lately. And so the other issue with the past was an interview I read with a pathologist who is trying to identify the remains of 1,000 refugees and migrants that drowned. And this was in 2015. More than 1,000 refugees and migrants from Libya were trying to reach Europe. So they were leaving Libya, and they were from Senegal, Mauritania, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Mali, Gambia, and Somalia, and Eritrea, and Bangladesh. So the man steering the boat, a Tunisian, together with a Syrian, would later be convicted of manslaughter and human trafficking and sentenced to 18 years. And I was just so compelled by the quotes, because somebody who survived said the boat, so the quote from this young man was, "The boat pulled away, but then it turned around. The captain called out that they were overloaded. The trafficker just ordered him to leave. He said if the captain didn't go, he would kill him on the spot. The trafficker drew his gun and shot into the air, and they could still see the boat." And then the pathologist said, identifying the dead has to be done, not only to solve criminal cases or for respect for the dignity of the dead, but it's something that has to be done for the health of the living. I think it's easy to imagine that not knowing what happened to your loved ones, you can't grieve, you can't heal, you're just stuck. It's like having a wound that doesn't stop bleeding. And so there's now a database of some of these migrants, so that their families can try and find out what happened to them, because you have your relative just left and you don't know what happened to them. And the people that two members of an international people smuggling gang were convicted of manslaughter on Monday over the deaths of 39 people who were found in the back of a container truck. They were Vietnamese, and I was looking at the picture. I'm like, whoa, this isn't a truck. It looked like a fucking oil drum or something. This is not where people are supposed to drive to be. So the people doing these tricks, running these tricks, are traffickers. They are lying to people. They are lying to desperate people, and they are taking their money and putting them on boats that they're going to die on. More than 100 people are attempting to cross the channel, and the French authorities are stopping people from entering the UK. And it's like the human right. I mean, you know, there's people freezing to death in Bosnia because they're trying to get to Europe. And you know, I mean, it really frustrates me. Issues like this frustrate me even more when I can't think of a solution. And this is a human rights violation. These people should not be freezing and starving and drowning. And so that's why I think Joe is on the right track by offering money to the countries where they are trying to escape from, to try and help them there. Then part of the problem is also that money is being made by services that have contracts with ICE. I mean, there's always somebody that's benefiting from human rights abuses, or they wouldn't be happening. So I don't know, man. I'm just really interested in migration and traveling and people trying to get someplace different. I mean, I just don't understand, like, why do people, I mean, they know what's going to happen. They know they're just going to be stuck in these refugee camps if they try and get to the U.S. They know they're going to be deported. So why are they still coming? Like, something must be really, really bad where they are. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to. And, you know, people say that they're coming to the United States to make money. They gotta know they can't make that much, that they're gonna be working under the table and taken advantage of, and be needing to live in fear of being picked up. So I don't know, man. I mean, you see migrants and refugees being interviewed, but I don't know, man. I would like to go talk to more of them and find out. I would like, I don't know, man. I'm going to write to some of the shows I watch and ask them to ask better questions, because people do things for reasons. you know.
You know what? I have a couple of friends that came in from Mexico, and they send money back to Mexico because some of them have like they may have like family farms or family stores. But
I can't. Can you
I
talk up,
think
bro?
overall, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me good?
I can hear you. Okay.
So does it sound
Yeah,
weird? Does
that's
it sound
better.
better now?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. So what I found out is I have friends who like have family and stuff in Mexico, and they came here from Mexico, and what they explained to me was that regardless of how bad like we think it is over here, it's worse over there, and so they tend to want to get the money here because to them when they're here it's not as bad as where they're at.
Wow.
And so even if they don't, to our standards, make a lot of money, when they send their money over there, it's considered a lot of money.
I guess so, because yeah, it's going to make more. If they're sending money home, it's certainly going to make more of a difference. But wow.
So I don't know. To me, I get I kind of get their point. And I mean, I don't know. I know that they had a couple of shows a long time ago on the Learning Channel. I seen like this one show where this guy was from Guatemala. I think he was from Guatemala,
Mhm.
and he had to take this train to get all the way over to Texas. And so, I mean, this dude had to hop on like a bunch of different trains and had to dodge coyotes. Like, he had to dodge a lot of stuff. And dude, they look like they have it rough. And so I can kind of see when they come over here from making nickels and dimes where they're at to coming over here and let's just say they make $10 an hour.
Yeah.
And that's what doing, and then they tend to all live together.
Yeah.
So you have like 6 or 7, 8 people live together in a house, and to them they don't have to pay that much, and they still have enough money to send back home.
Yeah.
I can kind of see their point. I can kind of see their side of it.
Yeah.
It's not as bad here as it probably is back where they're from.
Yeah. Or they wouldn't become, yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, that's helpful because, yeah, they wouldn't become, I mean, the news, they see the news. I mean, they know what's gonna happen and they come anyway. So.
Right. So, I don't know, man. I think like you said, like you were saying about with Biden,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the best thing to do anyway. I don't know why we didn't do that in the beginning by trying to, just kind of help a little bit. Maybe that might make a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at least be, proactive or preventive or like yeah, try and explain that to some of those. Yeah, I guess Trump went down and was like giving speeches by his wall, all like 10 feet of it or whatever. But yeah, I mean, try and explain that to some of these anti-immigration people. It's like crazy, man. It's like, who cares? I mean, what?
It's a. They don't see it from to their end. It's kind of like if a vice versa thing happened, it's kind of like, let's just say America's worse off than them. You know that a lot of people would be trying to go to Mexico.
Sure they would. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like, it's just obvious. If you're going to have it bad in one place, wouldn't you try to go where it's better?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, and Biden also issued, we talked about this. Biden issued an order for children to be reunited with their parents. So, yeah, we talked about that last week.
Good.
Yeah.
I personally think he did a good job on the executive orders. I mean, for him just coming in within a week, I was looking at some of the stuff he put in. I mean, to me, he at least he's trying to put in a challenge for everything. So you got to give him that. And he has 4 years, and they're expecting him to do everything in 2 days. So.
Well, stupid people, stupid people do. I mean, there's always going to be, yeah. I was This is a different. I was looking at there's a film that was released that I want to screen next year, and I was looking at some of the comments about it on Twitter, and so I was talking about it to a friend of mine. He's going like, oh, it's just Twitter. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's like, it's not that I care, but now I know what sort of dumb comments I'm going to need to deal with when I do this. It was just more stupid shit. People want me to, it just has to do with like nitpicky language stuff that people with no lives like to trip about. So, yeah. So we're White Thug Nasty. We want to give you like big thanks for coming to hang out with us, man.
Yes, right on, Thug Nasty, man. Much love.
Much love to Thug Nasty. Our next show is February 2nd.
Yep, February 2nd.
Yep. It's Global History Radio. We're here every Tuesday night from 8 to 10.
Yes, ma'am, we are. So, I guess, we wrapping it up, or what we doing?
Yeah, do you want to play some more music? Yeah, we can wrap it up.
You know what? Let me end it with a song by Thug Nasty.
Yeah, do. Okay, everybody, I'll see you next time.